Oh.
Whoa.
Oh!
Keep building on that. Come on up.
I live torture.
So you're
Thank you.
Nicole is an interesting case because she's an acupuncturist, and many times healers don't themselves get the care that they're giving for other people, right? It's like the cobbler's children don't have shoes. So sometimes people prioritize, and I know this as someone in the healing arts myself, we prioritize taking care of other people and oftentimes put ourselves to the back burner. And you know, when I get the opportunity, I love taking care of myself, but it's many times when I'm in full work mode, full grind mode, it's very hard to do that. So Nicole is someone who's very active. She's been active her whole life. She's sporty, athletic. She's had a lot of injuries. There we go, Miss Nicole. Wow. Gotta get some motion into that body. Wow. Walking around all stiff and compensated. Can't have that. And a lot of that can come from continual issues with cerebrospinal fluid flow due to a whiplash in the spine. And when our neck is thrown into a whiplash and our righting reflex gets thrown off and our posture gets distorted, we don't actually know where normal is because we're not looking at the horizon level. And when that happens, we think we may be level at times when we're not, and boom, we're unstable and we fall down. It could be rollerblading, bicycling, skateboarding, walking.
I was rollerblading pretty fast and I hit pavement.
Ouch.
And I saved my reflexes are good with my wrists, so I saved my face from getting torn.
Wow.
But all the pressure went on my wrist, which jacked me here and here.
And you know, with that whiplash again, or 10 of them,
That was
right?
on top of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even calculate that.
It's crazy.
I don't think that's what I
This whole area goes on guard, both with what you're describing and the whiplash injuries.
Yeah.
Quality, but it's clear that her pelvis is distorted. You can see the right side of the sacrum is lower down than the left. And as such, there is a right convex lumbar scoliosis. And so what's happening here is her body is compensating to this short leg. So here's a close-up of the lower back, and what we're looking at right here is that lower disc that we saw earlier. And when we zoom in, you see that it's literally bone on bone. They're touching. And I'm going to move these lines so you can see now. But you see it's bone on bone. And you may look at her and she's a beautiful young lady, she takes care of her body, and you might look at her and you would not imagine that she's in pain, she's hurting, but so many people have this outer shell of their body that looks a certain way, and yet inside they're hurting so much. And I think it's such a phenomenal analogy because you know, I'm somebody who's experienced a lot of pain in my life, both physical and emotional pain, and I'm sure you watching this have as well. And so many times we learn, especially throughout our teenage and young adult years, it's like, hey man, you know, put on your clothes, zip it up, go to work, go to school, get it done, because ultimately, you know, life goes on. And so many of us, you know, we're presentable, and yet we've got pains on the inside. We've got problems on the inside. And when we take an x-ray and as we look at the spine, we see it. There's no hiding it. And it's not to be feared. It's to empower you. The lateral view of your C-spine, you said 10 whiplash accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've already seen this, but you know, I like to
I've done like series of rolfing. I've done so many types of
soft
treatment.
tissue. Yeah.
So, and this is after all that, but this active re-triggered everything.
I'm sure Dr. G pointed it out. Your C3 here, it's falling forward on your C4. So that's an area right here where it creates an ongoing strain, literally 24/7. The only time you might,
So
probably.
the spondylolisthesis, is that what it is?
Well, it's not quite, but it's a hyperflexion of C3 on C4 with what's called an anterolisthesis.
That was my T-bone.
That was.
Yeah, I got
That's when
T-bone on
happened.
that one. It was a bad one.
That's right. Man, I love it when people don't know what a T-bone is, and I'm like, good,
Yeah.
And you probably treat your fair share. You're an acupuncturist, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, yeah, that's, but that one sent me to, but my spine looks better than that now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, the body can heal. The power that made the body can heal the body. And if there is interference with that power, that innate life force that flows through your spinal cord, many times, not always, but many times it can be corrected. And the one thing you can't do is lose hope.
The biggest breakthrough is just addressing so many issues at the same time, and really doing spinal correction. Yeah, I just know it's needed. So it's just the full spinal correction is what I really am happy to be here for.
Yeah, here's her right side, here's her left side. So we're going to put her on her left side, and when I adjust, I'm going to come in here and aim to close this wedge down and effectively take her spine here and move it like that. And what that does, the adjustment doesn't correct the spine, but it breaks the scar tissue that's been holding her like this. It breaks and tears it, and it allows her spine then to move into the normal position instead of being stuck this way. Now her spine can move, and then we put her on traction, we force her spine the other way, and then when she gets up, the spine relaxes like such. So it's a combination of exercises, adjustments, and traction that are going to help her. But she's been walking around with this distorted postural alignment for a long time. The adjustment is really simple, yet really complex. And depending on the case, depending on the severity of the case, there's a big, big difference between just laying down and crack, crack, crack versus somebody who actually articulates what is going on and works actively to correct that. And the body can heal.
Feels like I'm going to jail.
Breathe and relax. And we're haven't heard that one before. I love it. Resetting the firing of those extensor muscles. Breathe and relax. Because they're working.
Yeah, that front delta.
Oh yeah, your abs, right?
Yeah.
And out. Shoulders, arms, hips, legs. Let that go. Breath in. Just hold yourself here. We're going to do some. Move smoothly. Squeeze in a little more. Fall back. Fall.
Damn.
Keep your hands there. Breathe.
Love that one.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
Oh, I love your shoulder flexibility.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's get you set up on traction.
Okay.